Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly Escape from Pripyat. Now, what the hell is this, Juggernaut? Well, those more experienced in modding S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly have probably heard about the collection of mods called Escape from Pripyat. The idea on paper is to make a love child between Escape from Tarkov and S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly, and this is version 3.0 of that love child. And it is the ultimate and definitive S.T.A.L.K.E.R experience. This is the perfect S.T.A.L.K.E.R game, mod, compilation, overhaul, whatever you want to call it. To me, this is perfection. Now, it just so happens to be that this is the third video today I'm recording about a mod. I've done two others which will be released probably either today or by the end of the week. It just so happens, but this is, to me, the pinnacle of modding. Without any further ado, let's get into the mod configuration menu. The way you install this is actually rather simple. I will put the links to downloading this in the description down below, and I know a lot of my subscribers have been asking me for my mod list for S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly, for my series, and I was hesitant to make a video like that because, well, I tried, and it's complicated, right? It's complicated to explain, there's different ways of installing mods, there's, you know, I started making that video and then this came out, and I thought, you know what? No. I will just give you this. The reason being, if there are any parts of this overhaul compilation or of this mod collection that you don't like, the mod collection comes with a mod manager, and you can just disable whatever you don't like. You just untick it, and that's it. There is no installing, there is nothing. You download the complete game with all the mods inside it. There is a README file, and you will need to tweak the target, the installation for the mods. Like, you'll need to direct it to the mod to the game folder, because, you know, when you download it on your PC, it's not going to be the same. For example, for me, it's on the E drive. For someone else, it might be on the F drive or C drive or whatever. That's the reason. But, you know, that's the bare minimum. You need to, like, change a couple of words around, or letters, worst case scenario, right? Let's get into the actual mod and the actual gameplay. So, this is all the stuff you can configure. Ton of stuff in there. The mod comes with a couple of shaders, a winter edition, a summer edition, and a dead zone edition, graphically speaking. All three are gorgeous. I don't know which one I love more. This is the winter edition. Now, currently it's not raining. It was raining. Bloody hell. Currently it's not snowing. It was snowing. Well, though I guess that is a type of raining. It was snowing a couple of minutes ago, but not anymore. The one thing I don't love completely is the fact that the weapon mods are... Whoops, sorry, wrong button. That the weapon mods are not completely up to date. BAS has released a couple of newer versions compared to what we have here, and there are more weapons in the newer BAS versions. Could you work it into this? Unlikely, because this, like I said, is a love child between S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly and Escape from Tarkov, and let me show you just how much. Well, first of all, you need to open your backpack in order to access your inventory, which is pretty special. And then you have magazines, you have ammo, you have a brand new UI, which looks very, very neat. You have a new health system. Oh yeah. With stamina and with different health points, if you will, for different parts of your body. Oh boy. Yeah, this, there's a lot here. There's a lot to go through here. So let's just show you a little bit of the gameplay. This is, well, like I said, the winter edition with the winter reshade. There are a couple of other ones which work really well with this too, so you can pick and choose. The scope I actually really like. it suffers from a gameplay problem of all other scopes in video games, where the entire screen zooms in, and it's not just through the scope that you're seeing stuff, but just the level of realism and the level of immersion in this mod is genuinely beyond me. Okay, I think we got him. Oh, no, we didn't. Gosh, I'm loving the bullet impacts, too. I took out a pair of mercs with me, or 3 mercs with me, to secure the base and clear it of zombies, mutants, and other monstrosities in the area, so that's kind of what we're doing right now. And you can see their portraits on the side there, all configurable. You can completely remove the UI should you wish. I will say, the most fascinating thing with Escape from Pripyat for me is the performance. This performs better than my version of Anomaly with my own mod compilation and you know, with my own mod list. In fact, it performs much better, and yet it has like 700 mods in it. I don't know. Look, me neither, is all I can say. Me neither. I really don't know. The one thing I've noticed too, which was pretty gosh darn ridiculous to me, and you know, sparked my interest ever more in this, is that the item drops and the random loot you can find around the place have been tweaked. And now they are not only more useful, but they're more common. What I mean by this is... okay, so let me take it a step back and then I'll explain. I had a bit of a problem with Anomaly in general and exploration. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say, for example, I was here alone, I didn't have these guys to help me out, and I saw that apartment block. Now, in most video games, you would go, right, there's probably a whole bunch of food in there, a whole bunch of stuff, I should go and explore it. In Anomaly, I know there's nothing in these buildings, and I just move on. Now, obviously, if you're playing it for the first time, you don't know, but even if you are, you would visit one building and see that there is literally nothing inside it, and then you would move on with your life. With this game, and with this mod, not so much. Obviously, it doesn't completely overhaul everything. You know, it doesn't give you Escape from Tarkov levels of loot all over the place, but it does give you more random stuff. You'll find pieces of ammo, pieces of weaponry, literally weapon parts, pieces of weaponry. You'll find all sorts of stuff like that littered around the world. And that, honestly, is bloody amazing. I think that was the first... Oh, okay. Okay, sorry about that. The game does freeze occasionally. But, like I mentioned, a heck of a lot less than previously. Did he just shoot me? I think what's happening is he did, but I have friendly fire turned off, but he can still shoot me. That's fascinating. I didn't know it worked both ways, that mod. or that add-on, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it. That's pretty darn interesting. Either way, let's talk a little bit more about this mod and what makes it stand out from regular Anomaly. Well, other than, you know, graphically and in other ways, in every other way, basically. Let's actually, you know, get into it seriously and talk about it a little bit. So, what Escape from Tarkov provides is modability. No shit, it's a mod, right? But what I mean is, it provides you the opportunity to tweak everything personally without much of a hassle. It also, and this is, you know, the first thing is being kind of less important than this, it allows you to do all of this, and it allows you to install a variety of mods that work and play very well together. Now, what I mean by this is if you were to go and try and recreate this compilation, it would be a little bit difficult, because let's take a look, for example, at my rifle currently. This is an M4A1 RAS, or RAS. I'm not sure what the RAS stands for, I'll be completely honest with you, but it has a scope. Now, this scope is made by one mod creator, and the gun is made by a different mod creator that don't cooperate together. There's certain problems that can arise if you put a scope from one guy on a gun from another guy. Here, it works perfectly. In this mod compilation, or in this overhaul compilation of mods, however you want to call it, every gun works like this. Every gun is edited, tuned to work perfectly with all the different attachments that it can receive. However, if you were to download a couple of different weapon mods, that's not necessarily going to be the case. You will need to play around with the files, you will need to tweak them around yourself in order to get them to do what you want them to do. Alright, so with that in mind, there is also the fact that when you download this, you don't need to spend the next 2 days editing the mods, putting them together, installing them, downloading them, updating them, see which one works, which one doesn't. You just download the whole thing and you have the ultimate Stalker experience. So this is what downloading this package brings to the table, as opposed to, you know, creating the mod, creating it yourself and, you know, installing the mods one at a time. In terms of the actual gameplay, it's remarkably similar, you know, surprisingly, right? I say that sarcastically. It's remarkably similar to Anomaly with a couple of the additions that you might expect to find here, such as the new health system, the magazines, etc., etc. But it is important to note that getting those mods to work together currently, right now, on ModDB is a bit of a nightmare. Magazines doesn't play well if you have a ton of different weapon mods. I'm talking BAS, Gunslinger, retextured weapons, project, whatever it was called. If you have all those things, and maybe a few extra on the side, yeah, not gonna happen, sorry. You might find yourself in a position where half your guns have magazines and the other half just don't have any. There are no magazines in the game files for you to actually run your weapons with, which would be a bit embarrassing. Not to mention annoying to have to fix. I'm not quite sure how you would go about fixing that. So, on top of all of this, there is the question of stability. The mod, like I said, okay, fair enough, it does crash occasionally, it does freeze occasionally, but Anomaly crashes and freezes occasionally. Hell, every game I've played over the last 10 years crashes and freezes occasionally. That's not, yeah, I had to reload, sorry. That's not particularly shocking, is it? It plays amazingly well, all things considered, right? It's stupidly stable for a mod of this size and for a project of this size. Remember, this is all completely free, which boggles the mind. yeah, so I say it now, and I'm still taken aback by this. The best Stalker game experience, and probably one of the most immersive and interesting games I've ever played, period, is just completely free out there on the internet for you to download, install, play with, and, you know, have fun. And that's it. Fascinating stuff. Really, really fascinating stuff. Anyways, let's talk about something else now. So I've told you the gameplay aspects. I've told you how you can edit everything. I've told you about the difficulty, which, you know, is pretty much anomaly. You can tune it any way you like. It's not a particularly hard game, I will have to admit. It's not a particularly hard game if you know what you're doing and you have some experience. Like, I've played through Anomaly a couple of times. I kind of know what I'm doing. And as a result, this game isn't really that difficult. You need to focus, you need to know what's going on. You need to know where to go, but I think proof of me sort of knowing what I'm doing is that I'm still alive in my Iron Man playthrough, somehow. I'm really doing well in that playthrough, and now that I've said it, I'm probably going to die in the next episode that I record, but, you know, that completely aside, this is more than... There's more to this than just some fancy performance upgrades and some new gameplay mechanics. This game has a soul. Alright, and this is the second part of the video where I get all nostalgic and start ranting and completely lose you, so... well, maybe not, but the following rant is not for everyone, right? I've covered the technical aspects of the mod. I told you what it did, I told you how it plays. By the way, if you don't like how it looks, you can change it. You can install Aggressor Reshade, which is the one I'm using on my other playthrough. And I think it looks really well. I kind of prefer it to these shaders, but it is a bit of a change, so, you know, I like that as well. I don't love the scope. It's too pixely when you zoom in, but it's, you know, minor details. Variation. Okay. So, anyways. This game, like I said, has a soul. And it's reflected mostly in those tiny little details in raw gameplay. What do I mean by this? Well, for example, this is the kind of game that you can play for 5,000 hours, and then on the 5,001st hour realize that there is a small detail somewhere hidden in the code that you've missed. And it's actually fascinating. I'll tell you what I've learned today about Stalker in general, and it's not just Anomaly, it's all the Stalker games. Enemies can surrender. Okay, Juggernaut, yes, we know this. You know, and we've seen it, and you can come across it randomly, just if you have two enemy factions fighting, you know, soldiers from one can surrender. What you didn't know is that if you wound a soldier, come up to him, point your gun at him for a few minutes, or a few seconds, there is an increased chance that he will surrender. And that once he does, there are 3 different options that you can pick when dealing with him. To be fair, they are random. You don't get much control over which option happens. Do I just suck at shooting? I understand the answer is probably yes, but... swore like a couple of bullets used to be enough. Mind you, I am using regular full metal jacket rounds, which are terrible for self-defense, so... well, terrible against mutants as well. Oh, speaking of, before I continue on my soul rant, which sounds about as weird as it actually is, you need to put bullets individually inside magazines, just like in Tarkov. That is bloody amazing, that. Also, bloody difficult. I mean, it's not a problem now when I'm supposed to fight one zombie, but imagine fighting like a horde of monolith, or you know, fighting in army warehouses and storming an enemy faction base. Yeah, you're gonna empty 3 magazines into, you know, the guards or the soldiers or whatever, and what are you gonna do then? Run off and load them individually one at a time? You might have to. I mean, you know, we do that in Tarkov sometimes, preferably after a firefight, but yeah, that changes the mod, the entire experience, really. That changes everything very, very much. Plus the fact that an animation needs to play for literally everything you do. Let's say, oh no, there's a Chimera charging towards me. Quick, I need to get my frag grenades. Oh no, they're not on my hotbar. Open up the backpack, grab them. Oh no, I'm dead. In the, you know, in the actual vanilla game, you just click, grab, select. Happens instantly. For this, animations need to play. That makes the game a lot more difficult, obviously. Makes it incredibly immersive too, so yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with this. Now, anyways, back to my original rant. There are 3 different outcomes that can happen. I didn't know that. I thought that you just pick one of the 2 different options that you get, and then that's it. No, it's a little bit more complicated than that. There's this whole calculations going on. Fascinating. I've been playing this game. I've played the original 3 S.T.A.L.K.E.R games. I've played a whole bunch of overhaul mods for them. I didn't know this. I didn't know that when an enemy surrenders and gives you your gun, the gun is going to be in better condition than if you just shoot him on the spot. I didn't know most of those things. Maybe you did. More power to you. Maybe you did. But I didn't, and I'm pretty goddamn sure that a lot of other people didn't either. Yeah. There you go. That's just you know, one small little thing to consider. And that's not even mentioning the most obvious things of why a game like this has personality, has soul, makes you care about it. Care about your character, care about the world, makes you immersed into the world. Some of the more, you know, like I said, some bigger things. The behavior of the AI in combat. If they hear your gun click, they're going to move and they're going to be aggressive. Because they're going to hear you reload. And they will push you while you're reloading. This is the same AI who doesn't know how to get out of the doorway because they're blocking you, right? Because it's made with bloody passion, right? It's not made with the greatest of skill, I'll be the first to admit. Sometimes it's broken, sometimes it's dumb, but it's made with fucking passion. We all need to respect that and acknowledge that. This is made with passion, with love, and it shows. And it bloody shows. Alright? Good. Now, other than that, the atmosphere. Oh god, the atmosphere. Generally, the feelings that you get, and the fact that you get feelings while exploring the zone is a huge part of this. Something that is void in most other open world games. It really, really is, unfortunately. You know, you're going to walk through a ruined city and you're not going to feel anything. You're going to go into Concord in Fallout 4. I've played that game recently. You know, I have 50 different mods for atmosphere installed in that game. And with those 50 mods, they end up emulating S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Every single overhaul mod for Fallout ends up emulating S.T.A.L.K.E.R or Tarkov. And that's not a bad thing. It's just doesn't even, you know, reflect poorly on Fallout or the modding community or anything. No, it just shows you the brilliance of these games and the atmosphere in these games. That's all it does. So, yeah, just something to consider, I suppose. Anywho, this is my now go-to Stalker experience and game. And I'm generally pessimistic in life, right? I sort of tend to assume the worst most of the time and then go from there. That way you're never disappointed. But Juggernaut's life advice aside, I don't think the new Stalker game is going to be much better than this. Certainly won't be as hardcore. I am willing to bet my life and everything I hold dear on this. The new Stalker game coming out is definitely not going to be as hardcore as this, as detailed, as immersive as this. That's for sure. Matter of fact, let me just show you when it's snowing, because I think I can do that. Weather editor. How do I do this? Select weather file. Snow. There you go, some heavy snow. Beautiful. And look at the snow. Look at it. It's genuinely just awesome. Alright. Let's head on out. I am wondering... what is this down here? Can't really seem to figure that out currently. Never mind. I guess we'll find out eventually. Though I do want to check out this building now. Oh yeah, it doesn't snow on your head when you're even like under roofs like this and stuff. That is very nice. That is very, very nice. Just, I mean, there are points in this game where I just need to shut up and enjoy the atmosphere, the world, the tension sometimes, the fear, definitely. And just, let go. Let go of the real and physical world and just delve deep into this. Yeah, that is, anywho, maybe it's just part of my nostalgia speaking, because I've played this game for so bloody long, and I love the fact that it continues to evolve. Maybe, but, even if it is so, it gave homework to, at least, I'm not sure how much of an expression that is in English. It's certainly not used very often, in my experience, but it is in my native language, so I'll try and explain it, even though it's pretty self-explanatory. It made it so that the next Stalker game is really going to have to outdo itself. I don't see really a modern game coming out, a AAA modern game coming out anytime soon that can replicate this level of attention to detail and immersion and passion behind a project. Now, is it the perfect game ever? Well, obviously not, and oh, it snows in here and doesn't snow. That's a bit weird. Alright, never mind. As you can see, it's not the perfect game. It has bugs, it has its problems, but who the hell cares, right? Who the hell cares? It is so good. It is so bloody good. I'll tell you one thing though, that the mod hasn't improved. Loading times. Loading times are, a bit out there. In that they're pretty long, is what I mean. Anywho. Here's the thing. This mod, I mean Anomaly in general, I've praised it to hell and back over the last year or so. Speaking of, I can't believe it's been that long already. It feels like I started playing it yesterday for the channel, but yeah, it's been a while. I've praised it to hell and back, right? Of the gameplay, of how amazing it is, etc., etc. The issue for me is that it lost a lot of its charm when I've played too much of it. I mean, what wouldn't, right? What wouldn't? Especially when a game is so atmospheric and, you know, based on all these, I guess in many ways novelties, right? The novelty of going to a lab for the first time, you know, the experience. It's kind of like watching a really good movie. You can see it once or twice or thrice, but if you see it 15 times in a short period of time, you know, it's not the same anymore. Hell, I mean, if you see it twice in a short period of time, it's not the same anymore, but you get the idea. And I had the same problem. Like, I know these areas by heart. I know where all the stashes are, and I know all these things. It got a bit stale. The first few months of Anomaly were honestly one of some of the best gaming experiences that I've had in my life. But later, as you know, you learn more about it, it's a little bit stale. This mod freshens it up, which is more than I can ask for personally. But also on a sort of more objective level than something that I'm personally looking for. It's well balanced, from what I can tell. It's difficult to tell. I'm going to be playing like hundreds of hours of this, and I'll be able to make more informed judgments and more informed opinions on this later, but as of first impressions, I would say that it is very well balanced. Nothing seems overpowered, the enemies and the mutants and everything seem challenging, but not bullshit, which, you know, it's not always the case with everything in Anomaly. There are some situations where well, there's some situations where the mutants are too weak. They should be a lot stronger, and they are a lot stronger in the vanilla games, and in those situations, and in some situations they're completely bullshit, like Chimera hunting missions in the swamp. With this, a little bit more balanced, at least I think so. But then, it checks all the boxes you want from a S.T.A.L.K.E.R game, and all the boxes you want from an open-world sandbox shooter game. Rewarding but difficult progression. Horror. Immersion. Fun gunplay. Customization. Incredible atmosphere. Anything you want, like anything that you can think of, apart from, I guess, silliness and humour, because it doesn't really have that, but then again, you know, cheeky-breeky, depends on where you are in the zone. Like I said, almost literally anything. It ticks all the boxes, and is genuinely just incredible. Download this mod, people. Just download and play this if you've ever had any remote interest in S.T.A.L.K.E.R or a post-apocalyptic survival game, or you know, anything similar to this. Get this mod, play around with it, and see what I'm talking about. I will say, the one thing I would like for some of these mods to do, and this mod sort of touches on that a little bit, but the one thing I would love to see from these mods, one day, is make it worth exploring a little bit more. And what I mean is exploring off the beaten path, right? Obviously, I'm going to go to that tower every time because I know what's inside it, but you go to the outskirts, or you go to the Dead City, and, you know, in those apartment buildings. Put a couple of extra stashes in there. Put a couple of random loot that respawns in, I don't know, some of the beds or something. This mod does it, partially, because... oh, this is awesome. Because, as you can see, we grab ammo and stuff like that. In the version of Anomaly that I've played, you would grab old ammo. Like that. And old ammo was pretty darn useless. You need to grab double of it to repair it, and then, you know, you only get halves. That, I don't think that sentence made a lot of sense. Basically, you need to collect 30 of old ammo in a particular caliber, then repair it, and you would get only 15 rounds, and then, you know, you would start to spend time and resources repairing it. So yeah, it wasn't really worth it all that much. Oh, so one thing though I forgot to change. S.T.A.L.K.E.R mutant population. Offline combat I turn off for a very good reason. It auto-completes your quests. What I mean is, let's say you get a quest to assassinate someone, you turn this on and all you need to do is sleep for like 2 hours and you will die somewhere because it's the zone and people die all the time. And you will get credit for him dying. So, yeah, don't like it. But let's increase the mutant and stalker population factor to 1.5. Have a bit more action in the zone. Okay. That's about it for this video. I think I've covered a small chunk of what this is and what this can be. I'll leave the rest to explore. I'll leave the rest to you to explore. I will just say that nowadays I was thinking about whether I should say this at all. For the longest time. Since yesterday, I was thinking about whether I should talk about this or not. And I came to the conclusion that I probably shouldn't talk about this for several reasons, but it turns out I will. I don't like modern games anymore. I feel like if I don't tell you this, I'm gonna be disingenuous a little bit, and I will have made the video worse than what it could have been. So, I will say it. I don't like modern games anymore. There are good modern AAA games out there. There are. I've played God of War recently, and God of War is a great AAA game. Graphically, it's beautiful. The gameplay is pretty darn fun too. I mean, you know, the combat is nice, it's weighty, it's impactful. I've played about an hour of it, and then I stopped. And then I didn't come back to the game for a week, and then I played another hour of it, and then I stopped again, and I realized I don't like it. Now, I don't dislike the game. Like I said, it's good. It's great. It's probably, you know, I'm not sure if it won Game of the Year when it released. On consoles. On PC, it's equally amazing. But I didn't like it. And for me, it didn't really click. It didn't have a soul. Juggernaut, you sentimental fool. It was supposed to make me feel emotionally attached to the characters, right? That's the idea. And I'm sure after about, 15 hours or 20 hours of playing that game, I will care about the characters a little bit more because I've spent so much time with them, but I didn't. To be completely honest with you, I didn't really care about what was happening. And this is not because it's a me problem mostly, most likely. But maybe not. Maybe I am onto something, eh? I care about this game a heck of a lot more, and that's just the long and short of it, honestly. I haven't played a really good game in the last 10 years that I really genuinely emotionally cared about and enjoyed. There just wasn't much. There were great games out there, they were fun, they you know, sort of more objectively speaking, they did so many things right. But at the end of the day, I just didn't enjoy them as much. And I'm not even quite sure why. I guess definitely a part of the reason was the atmosphere, was the sort of effect that the game has, or in that case, doesn't have on you. S.T.A.L.K.E.R has something. This is gonna sound lame and then stupid the more I talk about it, but it touches your heart in many ways, right? And I swear to God, it's not just nostalgia, because I've played like older games that I've never played before, and I don't have nostalgia towards, and I get that feeling too that I just don't get with modern AAA titles. I mean, what the hell? Maybe I'm just an old man rambling, but maybe I am onto something, eh? Who knows? Anyways. My point is, I didn't have that problem with Anomaly at any stage, even when I got slightly bored of it, in that it became a bit stale. I still liked it, I still played it, and well, I still liked it, I still went through it, I still discovered new things, and it was fun. So yeah. That was me on Anomaly and on the state of modern PC games in general. I hope you give this a try, because it's stupidly difficult if you haven't played something like this before. It really is. It genuinely is stupidly difficult. But there's beauty in that stupid difficulty. There's beauty and there's a lot of enjoyment to be had from learning, and a lot of reward. It's kind of the reason I oh, this is just reflexes now. I really shouldn't be reloading that often. This just final thoughts on this, right? It's kind of the reason I play World of Tanks too, and kind of the reason I like that game, and I've spent a copious amount of money on it. It's not the best game. It's not perfectly balanced. Matter of fact, I would argue balance in World of Tanks with the existence of something like Chieftains and 279Es. If you haven't played the game, don't worry about it. They're ridiculously overpowered vehicles, right? Doesn't exist. Like, that game doesn't have balance. But at the same time, it counteracts that by giving you completely random teammates, which sometimes win 15-0 and sometimes lose 15-0. So you don't really notice that much. Except when you do. It's complicated, right? But nevertheless, it's incredibly rewarding, because when you mark a tank, when you unlock something, when you finish a mission or whatever, you feel so good about yourself. You feel like you've done something very impactful, something very permanent. And I get something similar from combat here as well. Like, I just killed 2 guys, and I got their gear, and I understand that they are just 2 guys out of probably 2 billion that I'm going to have to kill by the end of the game. But at the same time, like, with this mod, I had to clean my guns, I had to maintain them, I had to... You know, I had to do so many things. I had to load those magazines myself, and then I outplayed them and I killed them. I Good God, that feels good. That, like, gives you a sense of accomplishment in so many ways. Yeah? Oh, for crying out loud, that's my kill. Thief. Do you even leave me anything? No. Oh, don't you dare. Mine. Oh, you already looted him clean. Thieves. That's what I deal with. Thieves. Anywho. That's it from me for now, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. I hope I convinced you, and I hope I conveyed at least part of the emotions that I feel towards this game. And ultimately, just one final remark, I would say that the fact that I feel emotions towards it is telling quite a lot. Because I think that's precisely the problem with a lot of modern AAA games, is that you don't really feel anything towards them. They're fun, but you don't really feel anything towards them. I genuinely have passion for this project. I genuinely have passion for what is unfolding in front of the screen, right? So I hope that I've managed to convey at least a part of that to you, and to show you exactly what this is all about and exactly why I love it. But for now, my name's been Juggernaut. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe down below. I think I've already mentioned that. It helps the channel out quite a bit, and that's it from me. Until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.